Alright, so this is the corollary to the other video I just did about using a cue to keep track of an actor in time and replay it. So cue, first in, first out, used for replay. You can go watch the video if you want, which is essentially a quick explanation of this system, which is essentially if you have an actor going through space. I'll just do a quick recap. An actor going through space at given intervals, you can keep the, well, just do it 3 for this time. At given intervals, you can push information. Let me try and keep those. Okay, I'll just do it like this. Okay. You can push information in. This is a mess. There we go. Push information in. In this case, we'll just keep the position, right? So we'll start at 0, 0, and it seems like it's going about 1, 1. Oops. 1, 1. And then something like, I don't know, like 2, 1. Close enough. And then, since the cue is a first in, first out, once you're gonna, so you have the 2 instructions, right? You have push, so you push data, and you have a pop, which outputs data. So we get data out. So by pushing at a given time, you can get your information back for a purple square. So while your teal square is now here, your purple square is going to be here, right? And once it moves again, let's see here, you get to have a purple square here, because this information is gone, and you get this one, and you'll get this one, which is over here. So you're essentially replaying the positions over time. Right, so let me clear this real quick. There we go. So now the corollary with a cue, which is the opposite. A cue is, I mean a stack. The opposite with a stack. A stack is first in, last out. And first in, last out will allow you not to replay, but to rewind. This is pretty simple, actually. You have a this thing over here. Those information are stacking again. And instead of coming out this way and coming out this way, they come out this way, and they come in this way, and they come out this way. Right? So they're blocked. They can't go up. This one has to go up first. So that's a stack, essentially. So once you push information, you push data, it goes at the bottom of the stack, and then it stacks up, essentially. So pop, again, same 2 instructions. Pop gives you data. Right, so that's your stack. So if we take the exact same scenario with the exact same setup, we have this over here. We have the teal square doing its original path, and it's getting saved up in the data structure, like so. Once you pop it, well, actually going to have a one-to-one relationship, but that's not very important. Well, it is important, but it's not very. It's not much the point. Once you're going to remove the instructions, this instructions will go back here, and this instruction will go back here, and this instruction will go back here. Right. So essentially, as you pop data, you will recover the last data point that you had, and you are tracking your steps. And this allows you to go back in time, essentially, if you are applying it to video game making for rewind purposes. And this also makes it so the system is actually pretty simple. So if you look at it, we have next rewind. So you have the next rewind purple square. And so just do some pseudocode that's going to end up being really close to reality. Next rewind purple square is it's actually just pop. It's your stack.pop. Now, how to use rewind effectively, right? Stack.pop, and then, well, actually, we'll give it some contingency, right? So if the stack.size is equal to 0, well, okay, it's greater than 0, right? Then we pop. Right? So the stack.pop will give us the thing we want, right? So that's the position, or whatever piece of information you've encoded. And then else, we'll do the same thing as last time. We can just return null, but I would return something outside the playing field, like minus 50/50. This way you don't have to worry about nulls. If your system is more complicated than that, feel free to do whatever you want. But this is a pretty simple algorithm. So you rewind, and if the stack is empty, you just do this. Now, the next rewind purple square, that's pretty nice, but essentially you're going to continue stacking over top of it. So ideally you want to do multiple rewinds or multiple instructions backwards at the same time. You can have another utility function that happens to be rewind x steps, right? Or whatever you want to call it. And you have a number. Yeah. And this would essentially call your... Okay, we'll do it differently, right? We have to rewind x steps with the number, which is basically what I was saying, but also a true value, right? A boolean. So a boolean that says should clear, all right? So you have two options, right? So rewind x steps, right, is going to do just a simple for loop, or okay, if you're using Python, it's for x in range, and then you do like number. It's been a while. You can also do a simple int e0, e10, whatever number e++. This is some regular stuff. I'll put it here. All right, continue to rewind steps over here, and then inside of here, the brackets. I can just put it here. Inside the brackets, you will just call. I realize I have return with 2 R's over here. You will return your next rewind purple square, and you process it. You process it. You have to. This is an imaginary function, but just bear with me. You process it. And simple as that. So you process the next rewind, and then you can check your should clear. This is not correct syntax, but if you should clear, then you stack.empty. So why would you want to clear the stack, right? Let's say after a rewind, you don't want to keep the things. So if you don't clear, you can continue going backwards as much as you want. If you do clear, you save on some space. So you have a choice to make. And I feel personally that it's better to use the data structure this way than to start removing instructions from the bottom of the stack. So most of the stacks in programming language, I'm having a hard time at 3 a.m. Most of the stacks have some trouble removing the last information. Some programming language will have something like remove bottom, or I don't know, something that would be similar to this kind of name. Although if it's a true stack, this option won't be possible. I think if you want to remove stuff from the bottom, you should be using a linked list. Or whatever the equivalent is in your programming language, which allows you to do a head and a tail. I'll come back on this maybe next video. So yeah, you have the remove bottom. I wouldn't use this personally with a stack. I would use another data structure. Doing it with empty is actually more efficient with a stack, but I guess that if you're not keeping track of a lot of stuff, removing the bottom manually would probably be fine. But for a stack, a proper stack, you won't be able to remove the bottom, so you'll have to clear it. If you want to remove all the information, that's useless. And that would be when you rewind X steps and you don't want to rewind anymore. At that point, you can just decide to clear the information that's superfluous. So that's pretty much it. On this note, I'll call it for now. Have a good night.